All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into this. First video we are playing is this one over here.
Fight game has been yours for a very long time.
I never really left. I was training all of the time. I've lived in the gym. I've always loved the sport. He'll see on the night when he tries to hit me and he realizes it's not as easy as it is hitting these other people who stand around and lose.
Tate simply fatigued, and he wasn't able to get out of the way of it. Too much weight, beautiful shot.
And it wouldn't be a very interesting fight unless he was running his mouth and trying to tell people to be surprised on the night. Because, you know, I've beaten bigger things than Chase. And I've beaten bigger men than Chase. And I've fought people with a lot more experience than Chase. And I've fought things outside of the ring much bigger than Chase.
Fight.
Yeah, I mean, if we could move the event to tonight, I'd do it. Like, there's only 2 weeks left. There's no training that's going to matter now. Yeah. It's just a matter of getting in there and getting it done. If there was a ring outside and we could go fight right now, I'd just go and fight right now. So. Going in there believing you're going to knock me out easily is the biggest mistake you're ever going to make in your life.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
I promise you that. I promise you. Don't think you're going to get in there and just knock me out easy like I'm a fucking idiot. Like I'm going to go in there and I've made some mistake and I've just signed a contract and haven't taken this seriously. I'm not a fucking idiot, Chase. Yeah, obviously I didn't get the result I wanted. But truthfully, the result I wanted was to see if I could still do it. I know I'm going to win. Chase is the guy they gave me, so I'm going to beat him up. And after I beat him up, I'll beat up whoever else they want me to beat up. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to fight.
In 100 years from now, somewhere on the new Earth, there'll be a man reading about me in a history section on the Skynet. And that's not because I never lost, but instead because I always tried.
Obviously, I'm going to win. It's foregone. Everybody knows it. It's written into the stars. It's written into the universe. Everybody already sees it, including myself and including Chase. This is about me coming back and proving all the doubters wrong. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to win the fight on Saturday night. I'm going to move on with my life and deal with the next person. I have nothing to say to Chase because Chase isn't even in this equation to me. Chase is just the person who was chosen for me to hit. It doesn't matter. I don't even know. I've not yet had time to process why he beat me. I got tired after the second round. And I don't know why. The first and second round, he couldn't touch me. If I didn't get tired, I would have won.
What do you call someone who loses? A loser.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Maybe God decided, you know what, Chase has been through enough with mocking and things on the internet. Chase doesn't need the loss right now. Andrew can handle the loss better. Maybe God decided. Maybe if I won, we would have went out and celebrated that night, and Tristan would have smoked a bunch of cigars, and maybe he would have died 1 minute earlier. And maybe I get an extra minute with my brother because I love him. And if that's the case, then I'm glad I am. You have to have faith in a higher power. There's a lesson in all of this. And I don't need to know exactly what it is. If God decides that for some reason he's going to instantly gas me when I was in perfect physical condition so that I lose, then I have to accept God's decision. And I'll take the punches in the face like a man. And I'm not going to bitch, I'm not going to complain, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to take it. God decided on my head that that's what has to happen to me, so I did it.
Andrew Tate richer than all the haters talking shit. Fuck Chase too. If I see him, it's up. Andrew Tate was retired for 5 years, was smoking cigars and shit. He came back to show you all he's still got that dog in him. Top G1 in my book. Chase is...
I just want to say I don't condone these visual images. I'll just forward them.
Bugattis and Paganis and Jesco. 40M Pagani Penthouse has the utmost respect for the top G. He chose to get in the ring and box and show everyone he's still got it.
And I think this is his first time not on Twitter. The Twitter followers, the Bugattis, all that stuff is not going to be in there fighting for him. And, you know, hopefully when I'm done with him, I can buy my own Bugatti and I'm going to make it red, just like what's going to come out of his nose fight night. So. I knock you out, can I get a free membership to the real world?
Hello, Lodger. I had a busy Christmas. I always do. I have to go up and down the country. Nothing that I can do about it. I haven't even had a rest. So today is actually my first free evening, and I'm doing a live stream. So, so there you go. Okay, so back to the video. Why am I showing this about Andrew Tate? We all know he's lost. I'm not trying to kind of you know, gain credit for attacking Andrew Tate. You know, whatever, you know, some people like him, some people hate him, whatever. You know, that's not the reason. The reason is that I have seen, and I've shared previously as well, that there seems to be a pattern where people who call on, no, that's not the right term. Those who pray to Jesus, or those boxers that have called on the divine power, seem to have come up on top. And let me tell you what I mean. I'll play this video.
It's called The Truth, and how Jake Paul went from this.
Heyo, I'm Jake Paul from Bizarre Bar, and you're watching Disney Channel. Oh, no looker, first ever. Oh, nailed it.
To this.
Has done it from time to time. Just haven't been.
Now you may be thinking, where am I going with this?
Maybe there's some weird spiritual higher powers controlling this career.
What exactly am I trying to say? Well, the majority of the world is unaware of the spirit realm, and that's a fact. So we're going to dive very, very deep into this one, and you can make up your own mind at the end of the video. But in order to understand why I'm making this video, we have to rewind to the very, very beginning. And not the beginning as in Genesis beginning, but the beginning as in the beginning of relevancy to this story. And that would be Tommy Fury's brother, Tyson Fury, who is the heavyweight champion of the world.
But when that night of that fight comes, you're not going to be talking to Deontay Wilder. You're not going to be looking in the eyes of Deontay Wilder.
Who am I going to be looking in the eyes
You're
of?
looking in the eyes of the Bronze Bomber. You're going to feel him as well, too, just like the feeling that you feel him now.
Is that like an alter ego or something? Is it like a spirit that comes into you, or what is it? It
can be it can be a spirit, you know, it may be an ancestry spirit. Who knows? I'm part Nigerian as well,
I don't
too.
believe in all that stuff at all.
I do.
Because Jesus Christ is my savior, and I don't believe in all spirits and alter egos.
That's the difference.
If God is with
between
me,
and you.
nobody can be against me. And if you're entering spirits and stuff into your body, you can't win. You've already lost.
What you believe in, I may not believe in. What I believe in, you may not believe in. That's just the case that you just showed to me.
100%.
What you say out into the universe, it will manifest. What you say will come to pass. I'm sorry to tell you that because I speak it, believe it. Believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe, receive it. Speak it, believe, receive it.
I'm not talking to Deontay Wilder. Let me talk to the other person inside you, the Bronze Bomber.
I'm not trying to get in.
You're looking at a man who stands in the light. Because I want the world to know the truth. And people like you want them to know nothing. I look to nothing to come inside me and win fights. Only the power of God above. That's it. And I get the power from that. I don't get the power from anything else. I don't need a second person to come and help me. I've already beaten people like you many, many times. And I give them the same answer.
There's only one Bronze Bomber.
Do you know what I say to you? Ask and you shall receive. Ask and you'll receive.
There's only one Bronze Bomber.
Yeah, I can see it now. I can see it.
Don't you feel the ancestry, the energy?
I don't feel nothing. The ancestry, what is it?
But you will.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
But you will.
Where are you from? Who
But
are
you
you?
will. I've seen power
You're like a little
like
dust in the ocean.
mine.
You ain't got no power.
But when you
Power in
feel
what? I felt the ultimate power from above me.
When you
But
feel
the power
it.
I'm feeling
Nah,
for
you
you
ain't
is
felt that.
negative. negative energy. Because I've
your
heard
God
that
against
spirit
my God.
time and time again.
So why did I show you that? Because look what happens next.
When he was put down twice, having Wilder down. Down in the third. At that point, it looked as though Wilder could find his redemption moment, but it wasn't.
You know, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. I said those who bring evil against me will not prosper.
Yah is always there for his children, and he always wins. He already has the victory, and anybody who comes against him shall not prosper. Take a look at what happens next, because it is truly beautiful.
I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Congratulations to Deontay Wilder for finding his Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ.
So now you have the groundwork and some history about the Fury family. Tommy Fury's brother, Tyson Fury, clearly believes in the Saviour Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Yahushua HaMashiach. So why is this very important? Well, because we touched on earlier, how did Jake Paul go from the Disney Channel to knocking out champion fighters? Well, let's not speculate. Take a look at what Jake Paul says himself. And then I'm going to show you some absolutely insane footage that may shock you because it was broadcast on national television.
Tommy, I hope you've enjoyed these last few moments of your career. This is it. You're going to be retired from boxing after this. You're going to be disowned by your family. You're going to go back to your mother's maiden name. There's nothing else that can save you. It is just me and you, mano a mano. Your brother's not in the ring anymore with you. Your dad's not in the ring with you anymore. Molly's not in the ring with you anymore. Bambi isn't in the ring with you anymore. So all that little cute motivation about having a child and fighting for her, all that goes out the window when I'm coming to take your head off, decapitate you. I'm a mean, angry person deep down. I'm gonna take out all of it on your face. And there's nothing you could do to beat me. I'm built different. I want this more than you. I have more of a why. I'm more tapped in. I'm more emotionally intelligent. I'm more spiritually connected. I've worked harder every single day, in and out. I have a better team. I have a better support system. And guess what? Me winning this fight is for the higher benevolent good of the universe. And so it's not just me in the ring. It's all of my guidance. It's all of my ancestors. It's all of my spiritual helpers. It's all of the people protecting me, and together we are going to you up. You have 4 rounds, and then you are Tommy Fury, this is it for you. It's not just me in the ring. It's all of my guidance. It's all of my ancestors. It's all of my spiritual helpers.
So you heard it for yourself. This is not me making claims against Jake Paul inaccurately. He said out of his own mouth that it is not just him in the ring, but it is all of his ancestors, all of his spiritual helpers. Spiritual helpers. Now take a look at this footage, which was recorded and broadcast on national television before his previous fight.
This is amazing, but we're about to hit a team breathwork session, which is a ritual we've done for every fight.
Using a breathwork technique to go into a non-ordinary state.
Maybe there's some weird spiritual higher powers controlling this career.
Now, I'm not asking you to believe me in what I'm about to tell you, but one thing I will say is my family have called me crazy. I have been attacked, mocked, and ridiculed for what I believe in, even kicked out of my own house, because Christ warned us that when you come to him, you will be persecuted for his name's sake. You will be mocked, you will be attacked, you will be lied about, but count it as joy, because blessed are those who are persecuted for his name's sake. Now, that being said, I'm going to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And that leads on to the next subject. Why is the event called The Truth? Well, you heard it out of Jake Paul's mouth. He does rituals before his fights. Rituals. And he has spiritual helpers, quote unquote, and ancestry spirits that are in the ring with him. Now, let's be clear. The Bible is very, very clear and very, very, very explicit about this situation. And it tells us that we should not be communicating with the dead. It is an abomination. So if he is welcoming ancestry spirits, which will actually be familiar spirits, not his actual ancestors, by the way, that is not how the spiritual realm works. But if he is welcoming those spirits into the ring with him, he has already been deceived. Now take a look at Jake Paul's tattoos. Now I'm pretty sure the majority of you know exactly what that means and also what's above it. So I'm not going to go into great detail about it, but it makes it very clear what side of the spiritual realm he is calling upon. It is the false light. And just for clarification, if you look on his left shoulder, you will see karma and a skeleton head. And on the right shoulder, a serpent. So for those of you who have discernment, you know exactly what is taking place here. But let's continue on with the video. Now, it is very clear that Jake Paul has a spiritual understanding to a certain extent. Now, he clearly doesn't know the power of the Most High Yah, his son Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to come against it and be so blatant about who he is serving publicly. Because there is a spiritual war taking place, as we are told in the scripture. We do not war against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. Now, the event is called The Truth. And to anybody who is a born-again believer, who is in the body of Messiah in Christ, we take that extremely offensive. We take that as an extremely big offense. And I'll tell you why. Because the truth is Christ. He is the way, the truth, and the life. To call an event the truth, it is blasphemy. Because anybody who claims they are the truth, they are blaspheming the Most High Yah. Now, I know that people who don't believe in the scripture may look at me and think that I'm being extreme, but I'm telling you for a fact that Christ said, I am the way and the truth and the life, and nobody comes to the Father but by me. He was letting everybody know I'm the truth. So why would you call an event the truth? I'll tell you why. Because I believe that Jake Paul wants to raise his hand and say, I am the truth. That is what I truly believe. He is living in his mind. He is living in a spiritual fantasy where he tries to manifest his own reality. It is a cult. It is spiritual wickedness. Now, Tommy Fury, if you are hearing the sound of my voice, you need to pray. You need to give your life fully to Christ, and you need to call upon the Holy Spirit. Because I would not be surprised if certain levels of witchcraft had been placed over your life. And I rebuke it off of your life in Yahushua's name. But you need to make sure that you have given your life to Christ. Go to your brother Tyson Fury and ask him, what should you do? Make sure that you are grounded on the rock. Make sure your mind is in the right place. Do not get distracted by the wickedness that is going on in the country that you...
Okay, just to recap very quickly, we have seen how Jake Paul has or is doing some kind of manifesting spiritual, demonic, that type of thing. We've seen Deontay Wilder do the same thing, utter certain phrases that are related to spiritual, demonic, paganistic type of worship. And Deontay Wilder was up against a hardcore believing Christian, Tyson Fury, and he got dealt with accordingly. And Jake Paul in that fight did also, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. So we're going to now move on to go back to Andrew Tate and see if anybody can spot something about the opponent of Andrew Tate.
Ever seen in my entire life. It made me want to commit to boxing and go on a Misfits run. That's the power of this fight. It's given me that level of delusion. Delusion.
Round one, Tate comes out, and there was obviously a lot of people there to watch Tate, and he did some good things. He jabbed Chase to the body. I thought he was trying to set up his pull counter.
I would say Andrew Tate's body work is probably good in this fight. The jab to the body, the cross body is really, really good. But each time he goes for the head, that's where he kind of slips up because Chase Demore is doing a good job of getting out of range to try to avoid his head getting hit.
After the first round, I looked at, and he was on his stool like, I was like, oh shit, he's huffing after one, dude. After one round, because he won the first round.
I mean, credit to Andrew Tate, you know, stepping up and doing his thing too. But like, and I love the way he presents himself and how he challenged himself to go do something. But you know, it's like, at the end of the day, that fight was horrible.
Chase Demore, his defense is like painfully bad. And Andrew Tate came out there and he didn't look too bad in that first 2 rounds. I'm telling you.
Was he flailing at the end?
He came out there composed. He was throwing some nice jabs to the body. And I think he thought he was going to catch Chase Demore a little bit like harder, but it just didn't seem to have that thump.
Like he just didn't seem like he was. He seemed like he was starting to fatigue pretty early on. First round, second round, you kind of already start seeing it. But you got to push your cardio. Cardio's king. If you're, it doesn't matter how good your skills are. If you're absolutely gassed out, I mean, cardio is gonna. Like Chase Demore beat Andrew Tate because his cardio was better.
If I had to explain the fight, I felt good. Fighting camp went good. I felt good psychologically. First couple of rounds I was winning. I think when we started tying up, he's just really big, really young, really fit. And I think I got tired.
Saying I would have won if I didn't get tired is identical to someone going out, getting kicked in their forehead, and then going down unconscious onto the canvas and being like, I would have won if I didn't get kicked in the face. Identical. There is no difference between those two things. Being tired makes everyone beatable. Everyone.
Like Tate was in survival mode really from the midway point of round 3 till the end of the fight. Like I looked up at the clock. I'm sitting there, you know, by the commentary desk. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at the time and the rounds, and it was like midway through the third, and Tate was gassed, like done. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get knocked out. Somehow he survived, and it's not really a somehow thing. It's because Chase just refuses to put punches together in any orderly fashion and give himself space to operate.
He threw uppercuts from his fucking ankles, rear uppercuts that were catching Tate in the later rounds once Tate was completely gassed. But this was some of the lowest level boxing I've ever seen in my life, and I've watched women's MMA for fucking years. Juliana Pena has better boxing than both.
I'm gonna go slow motion. He comes in, he feints, he comes in to grab, upper comes through, then he goes to this side, he switches his hips. Now he's still turning. That left hook comes. He went here, turn, boom. Not the prettiest of shots. That's not a bad shot. That's a good shot. It's a beautiful shot, actually.
He was getting hit with stuff that were like comically bad punches, and he couldn't get out of the way of them. It's like, this is not your image. You know.
I'm shocked that it wasn't an easier opponent, is what I'm shocked about. Like, I'm shocked that it wasn't just somebody who really was a cupcake, right?
A total
Look, don't get me wrong. I don't think Chase Demore.
So as you can see, everybody is in complete shock that how can a former pro, semi-pro, whatever kickboxing Andrew Tate did, you know, how could he get beat by that chap? I mean, yeah, the chap's clearly taking something who's a bit of a bodybuilder, and you know, he's clearly fit and the rest of it, but that, you know, they both were punching like women. I showed you the first 2 videos at the beginning because I think when somebody calls on the right God, as we saw with Deontay Wilder versus Fury and Jake Paul as well, something magical happens. I'm not saying every single time a Muslim boxes a Christian, you know, the Christian will win, because we don't know how much of a genuine Christian they are, and you know, so on and so forth. But there seems to be something amiss, because because Andrew Tate actually is a former pro kickboxer. There's no two ways about it. But he was punching like a girl and being punched by somebody that punches like a girl. It's weird.
Sparring cardio when you're boxing this influencer, you know, that's where you have to actually kind of show what you were talking about. And again, that's what I mean. Like, don't say those things in those, like, when you're gonna, again, I guess, have to show what you're doing.
But again, one of the big things coming into this fight that I knew, that I said, that other people had said, and including Ben the Bane Davis, Chase Demore is so awkward.
Okay, let's switch it over.
He is so...
Haters are like females. Nothing you can say, matter how heinous, bothers them as much as ignoring them completely and living a happy life.
Nothing says ignoring haters like losing a fight to a guy in pink Hello Kitty gloves and then posting about women.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Oh my God, bro.
What do you call someone who loses?
I was thinking of buying a course from Tate, but after watching him get pulverized by a man that wears pink gloves, I am never buying a course from this fool.
Just listening to him speak his performative and empty words should have been enough.
I'd be mad too if they beat me up with pink gloves.
I got this! I got this! Any man who chooses hoes before bros ends up heartbroken. That's just how it goes.
But not jaw broken.
"40-year-old men still saying this is crazy."
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Same as a man who talks too much online and ends up getting his ass beaten offline. That's just how it goes.
Exclusive message from the real world professors reveal Andrew Tate still...
Okay, that's enough of that. I'm not trying to hate on Andrew Tate. I was just trying to prove a point. We've got a lot of other videos to go through. We may come back to Andrew Tate. There's some other information that should be shown, but now I'm going to go over to Instagram. See what you guys think of this.
Okay, you know the adrenochrome production? Okay, let's go back a couple of steps.
I'm going to have to play this at least 2-3 times because the audio is not great, but some shocking information in it. Have to look into this, obviously, but here we go.
Adrenochrome is adrenalized blood. It is developed when an individual is in a deep state of terror. Adrenaline pumps through the blood, and then they drain that blood from the person, and that's a drug. It's a drug of choice. It is produced on an industrial scale. Walmart uses its supply chain to transport around the world. It's transported in 44-gallon drums, say out of Holland. Now, how many babies do you have to kill and torture to get a 44-gallon drum? So what do you do with the bodies after that? Well, I just put them into the McDonald's burgers. In US. This is US. I don't know about Oz, but definitely the US.
He's allegedly in the...
Oh, I just got told that people don't know about McDonald's. Okay, you know the adrenochrome production? Okay, let's go back a couple of steps. Adrenochrome is adrenalized blood. It is developed when an individual is in a deep state of terror. Adrenaline pumps through the blood, and then they drain that blood from the person, and that's a drug. It's a drug of choice. It is produced on an industrial scale. Walmart uses its supply chain to transport around the world. It's transported in 44-gallon drums, say out of Holland. Now, how many babies do you have to kill and torture to get a 44-gallon drum? So what do you do with the bodies after that? Well, I just put them into the McDonald's builders. In US. This is US. I don't know about Oz, but definitely the US.
He's allegedly in the...
Oh, I just got told that people don't know about McDonald's. Okay, you know the adrenochrome production? Okay, let's go back a couple of steps. Adrenochrome is adrenalized blood. It is developed when an individual is in a deep state of terror. The adrenaline pumps through the blood, and then they drain that blood from the person, and that's a drug. It's a drug of choice. It is produced on an industrial scale. Walmart uses its supply chain to transport around the world. It's transported in 44-gallon drums, say out of Holland. Now, how many babies do you have to kill and torture to get a 44-gallon drum? So what do you do with the bodies after?
Okay, so in case you missed that, the chap is saying that there is some kind of industrial system that is killing and torturing children in order to drain the blood during the stage of terror, because it has a certain chemical in it which this group of people enjoy drinking. That's claim number one. Claim number two is that the bodies of those children is then ending up as food, as he claimed, as McDonald's food. That's his claim. Let's go on to the next one. Actually, that's not the one that I wanted to show. Bear with me.
Three Bibles sitting in front of me right now, and they're all page marked, okay? The verse that she's referring to is Matthew 17:21. And the verse actually says in so many words that in order for you to heal yourself, now this is Jesus saying this, okay? Fasting and prayer. That's what the Bible verse says. It's Matthew 17:21. So I go through the three Bibles that I have. One is very old, two are slightly newer. Okay, this is the NIV. This is the newest Bible that I have. Okay, so we got Matthew 17. Let's pan over. Okay, 20. And would you look at that? Skips to 22. It doesn't even have a 21. See? It says 21. There's
Same
nothing
for me.
there. There's literally nothing there. It's in parentheses. Okay, that's
I love
the
this
newest
Bible.
one. Okay, this is Holy Bible, another NIV. This one's older though. This is the one where it's in red. If you don't know, red is what Jesus speaks. Okay, so we're in Matthew. Let's go down to 17. Okay, it starts healing a boy with a demon. You go down. It's 20. Would you look at that? Skips to 22. Okay, this is the oldest one I have. This is a KIV. Okay, here we are.
Okay, sorry, that was the wrong video. This is the video I wanted to show.
Parts. It's not just about sex trafficking. It's that when the sex trafficked children and people are used up, they're converted to body parts and sold on the black market to black transplantologists. I hate to say this. This is really, really distressing to me to say this, but I honestly think every major food manufacturing, meat manufacturing, processing plant ought to be tested for human meat. The concentration of human meat. I think they have a way of doing that, and they claim they do because they shut down a couple McDonald's. And we've heard people. Remember Rabbi Finkelstein in New York? He was bragging about this. He was talking about, not letting it go to waste, putting it in the meat, and nobody believed him. But then later, this whole thing McDonald's came out.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about here, people? So,
so
it's
good.
being run, and Ukraine is the center of it. The big money is body parts. It's not just about sex trafficking. It's that when the sex trafficked children and people are used up, they're converted to body parts and sold on the black market to black transplantologists. I hate to say this. This is really, really distressing to me to say this, but I honestly think every major food manufacturing, meat manufacturing, processing plant ought to be tested for human meat. The concentration of human meat. I think they have a way of doing that, and they claim they do because they shut down a couple McDonald's. And we've heard people. Remember Rabbi Finkelstein in New York? He was bragging about this. He was talking about, not letting it go to waste, putting it in the meat, and nobody believed him. But then later, this whole thing McDonald's came out.
Right.
Like, what are we talking about here, people? So
so
it's being run, and Ukraine is the center of it. The big money is body parts. It's
Okay,
not just
here's
about
the next
sex
video.
trafficking. It's that when the sex trafficked children.
Thailand. Been to Thailand before. Have you? Beautiful. 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 What comes with the island? There's a small villa here. You could practically build with the island. There's building space. Yeah, there's
Do the islands come with the children, or the children?
This island does have a small school. There are children.
Okay, so I didn't know if that was a stupid.
Yeah.
What countries are near to abduct them from?
Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Philippines. The Philippines. Of course. The Filipinos, if they're not being a nurse, they're being your okay, so. True. Yeah. So.
What age ranges?
This one's in Thailand. Been to Thailand before. Have you? Beautiful. Beautiful.
What comes with the island?
There's a small villa here. You could practically build with the island. There's building space. Yeah, there's.
Do the islands come with the children, or the children?
This island does have a small school. There are children.
Okay, so I didn't know if that was a stupid.
Yeah.
What countries are near to abduct them from?
Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Philippines. The Philippines. Of course. The Filipinos, if they're not being a nurse, they're being your okay, so. True. Yeah. So.
What age ranges?
This one's in Thailand. Been to Thailand before. Have you? Beautiful.
What comes with the island?
There's a small villa here. You could practically build with the island. There's building space. Yeah, there's.
Yesterday, I drove to Lancaster County. I drove to Amish country. I drove from house to house to house. I actually went to the house of a relative of Gideon King. He's the one person, the only known person in the Amish community who supposedly died from COVID. Now, they say there may be up to 5 people, but I wasn't able to get the names of 5 people. I offered $2,500 reward on Twitter. Hey, give me the names of more than 5 people in Lancaster County who died from COVID. Not a single person was able to name more than one person. They all named Gideon King. I actually went to the house of Sam King, who's a relative of Gideon King, and I talked to Sam. He doesn't know if Gideon actually died from COVID or not. He died in the hospital. They think it was COVID, but maybe he died from the COVID hospital protocols. But let's say that we could name them, and there were 5 Amish people who died. That means the Amish died at a rate 90 times lower than the infection fatality rate of the United States of America. Now, how is that possible? It's possible because the Amish aren't vaccinated, and because the Amish didn't follow a single guideline of the CDC. They did not lock down, they did not mask, they did not social distance, they did not vaccinate, and there were no mandates in the Amish community to get vaccinated. They basically ignored every single guideline that the CDC gave us.
Allegedly, I don't want YouTube to go all Nazi on me and giving me more strikes and the rest of it. Allegedly, I'm just sharing information. Right, shall we? I mean, I can't find a particular video more about body parts being sold and what have you, but I've got another video here that we can just switch to straight away.
Charlie Kirk had no coroner's report, no church funeral, no burial site or grave, no official death certificate, Why has no official autopsy been conducted, nor any findings released? No ballistics report. Not a single eyewitness on the record, and an award-winning widow already taking over his show. Why was the entire crime scene destroyed within hours, erasing vital evidence? They tore down everything, including the Dairy Queen. Why were there no paramedics on the scene? Why was Charlie Kirk's body removed and illegally flown out on Air Force Two? Why did Donald Trump pardon a Navy SEAL killer whose shadow looms over this case? Why was the stadium mysteriously booked by Turning Point 4 months before his death? How was a massive high-tech stadium memorial produced in only 11 days? Why do multiple women publicly appear as Erica Kirk, raising questions of identity? Why are there no birth certificates for their children? No names revealed, no faces ever shown? Where is a video of Charlie playing with his kids at a birthday party, or picnic, or any other family setting? Why do Freemasonic and satanic symbols surround this tragedy with chilling precision? Interesting that the gun was found on property owned by Palantir. Isn't it interesting Kash Patel fired many of the heads of the FBI in that area days before the shooting? Do you find it interesting that Charlie sold his house 8 months ago for $5 million? If the father of your 2 young children was just brutally murdered for the world to see days ago, do you leave them home with the nanny while you go on podcasts grinning from ear to ear? Is it not curious that a 17-year-old first-time Donald Trump beauty pageant contestant won, and now Trump appointed a top attorney general woman who has no experience who was also in his beauty pageant? This is only a fraction of the clues and evidence on this psyop. For those of you brave enough to look at the evidence while removing the preconceived emotions, the conclusion is undeniable.
Gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that's an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu is basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? But I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand-down order? Was there a stand-down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. Wow. 6 hours. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF. The whole country is. Gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yep. I mean, that's, and I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And let me tell you, my pattern recognition over the last 5 years has become pretty sharp. COVID, Maui fires, Epstein. When I see a story and it doesn't click, our guts are usually right.
George Orwell wrote, "It was always the women, and above all, the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, the amateur spies and nosers out of unorthodoxy."
He wasn't being misogynistic, he was making a psychological observation. In his view, women, particularly in their role as caregivers and moral enforcers, tend to prioritize safety and compassion over risk and freedom. And that instinct, while natural, is easily weaponized by totalitarian systems. When conformity is marketed as compassion and control is rebranded as care, the state taps into the feminine psyche to enforce ideological obedience. Now consider this. Men will do almost anything to attract a mate, so when the state captures women through propaganda, redefining tyranny as empathy and compliance as virtue, men follow, especially those who can't compete in the traditional dating market. They feminize themselves and trade strength for submission. This is what evolutionary biologists call the sneaky f***er strategy, low-status males mimicking feminine traits or moral positions in hopes of reproductive access. And while all of this unfolds, families disintegrate. Single motherhood, a top predictor of poverty and social dysfunction, becomes the norm. Children from single-parent homes are far less likely to climb the economic ladder, and who steps in as provider and protector? Not the father, the state. But here's the kicker. The state is funded disproportionately by men, so rather than supporting the women they married and raised children with directly, men subsidize the state, which in turn provides for women through social programs. Why? Because women have been propagandized to see every relationship as a power dynamic, except one with the state, which is ironically the centralization of raw power. They've been told that to rely on a man is weakness, but to rely on a bureaucracy is empowerment. This is not progress, this is dependency with a new face. And both men and women are suffering. The childless middle-aged woman and the incel are two sides of the same broken culture. A woman without her own child often directs her maternal instinct towards abstract causes, infantilizing minorities under the guise of social justice. What we are witnessing from psychologically unwell men and women is Nietzsche's concept of resentiment, envy dressed up as morality. The strong became evil, the weak became good, strength became tyranny. We now live in a pathologically soft society that sides even with those who harm it, where punishing crime feels unfair and victimhood is the highest virtue. Nietzsche called them the tarantulas, those who preach justice but act from bitterness. They don't want to uplift the weak, they want to drag down the strong. Orwell saw them too. Quote, most middle-aged socialists, while theoretically pining for a classless society, cling like glue to their miserable fragments of social prestige.
That's a great video because it not only delivers a lot of information very quickly, but the most important point, or one of the most important points, was the understanding why the globalists prefer women now to be single and childless, because they are more easily manipulated and they will welcome anyone, literally, and mollycoddle them because they've been foolish enough not to listen to the instincts that God installed in them, and thought it would be a good idea to waste their lives just following a career and thinking that they are too amazing to be tied down by a relationship and all things womany. But well, tough. They learned the hard way.
And I made a video about this last year called The Trauma Game. So on the one hand, it's like, wow, yeah, I don't know how anybody can look at this and not just be smacked right in the face by like how obvious it is that this is not what any of these people would be doing in a real life or death shooting scenario. Every single person in the crowd is reacting in a completely non-realistic or inauthentic way. Like everyone just assumes that like, oh, the shooter's down, so like most people wouldn't even hear that. But like why you would assume that there was only one shooter and you'd be afraid of getting shot. And this is the whole thing, is that everyone wants to point to the firefighter guy who died, you know, saving his family, and supposedly there were multiple people who got shot, but the only one who gets named is the one firefighter guy who supposedly died. But it's like, yeah, then why, if there was a dude in the stands just to the left, you know, bleeding out or got shot, like, you know, there would be a scene, there would be a commotion, people would be screaming. You can't even hear anybody screaming in this footage. But yeah, you can clearly see the guy directing him to the particular spot where you're going to get that money shot, you know, and you have a very short window in terms of the flag being in the background. I mean, I was watching this going like, they may have actually rehearsed this before the crowd was there, because yeah, everybody on the stage, are we clear? Are we clear to move? Okay, wait, I gotta get my shoe. And then he raises his face. I mean, the whole thing, this is the most staged thing I've seen in so long. I mean, it was a year ago, but now it's like, and watching Alex Jones try and explain this away was even more insane the other day on the Tim Dillon show.
There's a new video out that's viral everywhere about, look, on July 13th.
I just saw that, yes.
Yeah, on July 13th, you see the film crew being waved up after he's shot. It shows as a production. Well, anybody that's been in a presidential speech of Trump or Obama or any of them, which I've been to, or Bush, W, or any of them, I've been to all those. You have the Secret Service directing press up, directing press back. They tell you when you can be there, when you can't. He gets shot, he falls down, they wave him back. He pops back up. They let the press in. These are TV productions. So people seeing that production and then thinking, oh, it's fake. No, the whole thing is a production. But I know ballistics, I know rifles. They didn't have real people shooting at him, and then they just perfectly grazed his ear. Right. And you can't fake real like that. You can't fake the acoustics of another shooter or a guy getting killed or other people getting shot in the background. I mean, the greatest directors all fused together. Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola.
Anybody, right? Scorsese.
Nobody can do that. Nobody can, carry that out. That was real. His ear got grazed. The Democrats.
Hey Sandy, I hope you're feeling better. Are you back at home? Let me replay the video and I'll message Jordan for an update. Anyway, good to see you back.
Democrats hold up the cartridges in the bullet and go, something this big hit you. No, it's this big, and when it grazes you, that's exactly what it does. And because, long story short, I got shot with a 22 caliber pellet when I was 11. And it hit my ear and bled a lot, but the hole was closing like a day. Just went right through the side. I had the same thing happen. A kid named Mike Hamby shot me. It was an accident. But the point is that my grandmother's ranch. The point is, no, that was real. And all the lawfare and all the indictments and the mug shot and the persecution I've gone through was real. And because of that failing and because of what happened, they're now trying to spin that and make it go away. But people then see, oh, they pushed the media back. Well, if you go to any debate or presidential deal, they tell the media come forward, they tell them come back. And then once Trump pops back up, they're like, okay, he's okay, you can come back forward, because they're producers, they're filmmakers that run this, that are trying to get iconic shots for videos or put out for Trump. And so they all see him shot, they get scared and run back. Then he pops back up, it's normal, okay, they creep back up, bring the cameras back up. You got a bunch of Pulitzer Prize winning photographers there, but they've got to do what the Secret Service says. So people go, oh, that's a production. Well, when Trump goes to the NFL game or the World Cup game, that's a production. Doesn't mean the game didn't play. Doesn't mean it wasn't real. So yeah, it is a production, but it's a production that is of a real event that's happening.
Just absolutely absurd. What do you mean they're doing their job? What do you mean it's real even though it's a production? Why would you be trying to get a photo if you were really, I don't know. I think that has probably been the most fascinating part of this, is seeing people.
Okay, I mean, the guy makes a good point. Would these photographers be doing or acting like that? Why are people not screaming? Where's the noise? He makes a good point, but of course we can't verify the footage, so we don't know what's what. Anyway, next video. Oh, that is the next video. No, it's not. Just bear with me. Bear with me. It's this one here. Okay, we are ready.
You really want to know why Trump's administration is such shit and everything's going to shit here in America?
Tell us.
Because Trump turned his back on God.
I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
Trump is no longer a Christian, and in order to become Jewish, you have to disavow Jesus Christ. Literally. There's no joke. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. There's no other way around it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is why Trump tells you that he's not going to heaven. This is why Mark Levin tells you that Trump's our first Jewish president.
And I said, this is our first Jewish president.
It's true.
No.
It's true.
No. It's true. No. And I said, this is our first Jewish president.
It's true.
No.
It's true.
No.
And that's exactly why this is going on at the White House.
Happy Hanukkah is what the White House is telling everybody, with a giant menorah on the lawn. No Christmas tree, no statue of Jesus, but a menorah.
That's really good news, Jordan. That's really good news. glad to hear our sister Sandy is doing well. Very, very good. Great to have her back. And yeah, I still haven't seen a video of your new dog. I'm sure you must have taken him on a walk. Is it too much to ask for your new designer dog? Gosh. Anyway, wicked that Sandy's back.
Menorah is how the White House will be celebrating Christmas this year. Well, actually, it's banned to put Jesus' birth on the White House lawn. Did you know that in 1989, they ruled that Christian scenes could not be displayed by the government, but menorahs could. So you will never see the birth of Jesus on the White House lawn, but instead you'll see this thing, a 36-foot statue right in front of the White House. Also inside the White House, they will be celebrating and lighting the Hanukkah candles. Where's our president? He's in that corner, making sure that he's not in the way of the singing. And this is him talking about Hanukkah. He did not host anything to talk about Christmas. I'd like to note that there were 3 Hanukkah celebrations this year in the White House. Not a single Christmas tree, not a single image of Jesus anywhere around or in the White House.
This isn't up for debate because if you just read the Talmud, right, it explains where they believe that Jesus Christ is. The Jews believe that Jesus Christ and Mother Mary are both boiling in cauldrons of human excrement, which is feces and semen. And they believe that because they claim that Jesus Christ was a false prophet, he was the bastard child of Mother Mary was a whore, and that because they both worship a false idol, they are no longer able to be saved. They must be condemned to the depths of hell for all of eternity while they boil in human excrement.
You're familiar with the story of Jesus, right? Jesus was a Jewish rabbi 2,000 years ago.
For a Christian to believe that Christ was Jewish is an impossibility. The Jewish religion was foreign to him. He fought against it and abolished it. The religion which Christ preached has nothing in common with the gross materialism which dominated the so-called chosen people. His teachings are the basis of the spiritual conception which we call Aryan and which has always stood in fundamental opposition to Judaism. The religion which Christ founded is the exact contradiction of the Jewish religion, as are his followers the eternal opposite of the Jewish teachings.
All right. I'm now going to share an absolutely very, very funny, absolutely hilarious video. It's not going to sound out. It's not going to start funny, but it's going to end funny. Oh. So Sandy isn't back. Oh, I see. I take it Sandy's still in the ward and Jordan's at home and having a conversation in the chat. That's hilarious. Anyway, Sandy, thinking of you. Hope you get well soon, and I hope you're back soon as well. Yeah. Okay, let's play this video. It's a classic. This will cheer anybody up.
I believe covering your face is part of dressing modestly to avoid attraction when you go out.
So, the danger is I might be attracted to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. The reason there are so many scholars who do feel that the hands and the face do not need to be covered, but there are also scholars who say that, yes, that it should be covered. And I feel it should be covered because the most attractive part of anybody is the face.
So is there a danger that males in the audience are attracted to every female in this studio's face who's here? Are they putting themselves in some kind of...
Not necessarily every female face, but yeah, it could stir some sort of...
Passions?
Yes, absolutely.
Why would it not stir passions in a woman to see a man's face?
Well, it's about the burqa, isn't it, and about the woman wearing a veil.
Yeah.
And it's about why women are wearing a veil.
Yes, but I'm interested, if it's about equality, and you feel a sense of liberation, don't you? Why should men not be required to cover their faces too?
It's a good point, but I wouldn't question that. If this is how I understand what the scholars have said, then I would do it.
And it's God's will?
It's God's will.
As you can see, she doesn't question things that actually throws her religion onto the pile. She only questions what the scholars ask her to question. Now you transfer that over to, say, the Christian community, who openly discuss and even sometimes cross-reference parts of the Bible in order to make sure it is watertight. And then some atheist fellas stands there and says, well, why doesn't your men wear the hijab if it's so fair and dandy? Jordan, why are you not wearing glasses? Why is it that every third conversation that we have, or I come across now, you are not able to see your button? Where are your glasses? Get some reading glasses, young man. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that. Now I'm going to show you possibly the funniest video that I've watched for a while. This is absolutely hilarious. If you want me to repeat it, I'm happy to do so. But let's watch this.
Thank you all for meeting with me. You're all doing some wonderful work destroying the world, but I think it's probably time for us to reevaluate.
Yes, sorry for the interruption, but I think we're in the wrong meeting. We're not here to destroy the world. We're here to save it. You see, we are some of the leading leaders of liberal causes, and I'm with the Human Rights Campaign, who focus on LGBTQ+ and trans rights. You see, I have an equal sign to let you know that I'm a good person.
Oh, excuse me, women's reproductive rights.
Climate.
Free Palestine. Open borders. I misspoke before. You guys are not destroying the world, okay? You are saving the world.
Whoa, what's up with those scare quotes?
Pretty sure I didn't use scare quotes when I said saving the world. The important thing to keep in mind is that there's a big election coming up, and we're all on the same page, okay? So if we want Biden to win, he needs to win in order for us to save the world. If we want Biden to win, you folks, how can I say this? You might need to tone it down. Just
Tone down what?
Oh, that's a good question. You're women's reproductive rights, right? Okay. Excellent branding, by the way. It's much easier on the ears than baby murder. So kudos to you on that one. But opposing any restrictions all the way through to the 9th month, I mean, you see how you're kind of tipping your hand, right? Makes people think, wait, maybe they actually want to kill babies. And we do, obviously.
No, we don't.
Oh.
No, we don't.
Right. We don't. But you see how it can kind of look that way. So that's all I'm saying. You know, let's tone it down. And you, immigration, clearly we don't want a completely open border that undermines any sense of national sovereignty, driving down wages for the working class and overtaxing welfare states. So let's go a bit easy there too. I mean, why not something like this? Why not something like diversity is our...
Are you trying to say diversity is our strength?
Yes! How do you say that without laughing? Oh my gosh. I can't even get through it. This is head and my sides. My goodness. Okay, what about you? Pro-Palestine. You are, I'm going to say this. You're kind of coming across like you just want to wipe Israel off the map and kill all the Jews.
We do want to wipe Israel off the map and kill all the Jews.
Of course, yes. And that's awesome. I'm all for that. I love that. But you need to pretend like you don't want to wipe Israel off the map and kill all the Jews.
Why?
Excuse me?
I mean, we're pretty clear in our position, and most young people and everyone on college campuses, and half the Democratic Party, of course, still support us.
Yeah, it's cool now.
You may have a point there. You might be the only person in here that can be as evil as you want to be and get away with it.
Okay, so I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I don't know if you guys did. 2 more videos on Instagram before we switch it up a bit. Bear with me just 1 second.
Absolutely fear this truth about Jesus. Watch this.
Okay, put it this way. Out of 180,000 prophets, why is Issa Jesus the only one coming back again? Jesus was not a Muslim. He never had Quran. He never worshipped in a mosque. Jesus never been to Mecca, Medina. Never been anywhere. So there's a Jewish prophet coming to save an Arab nation. Why? Why? Why does God give Jesus the authority to judge mankind? Jesus knew the thoughts and the minds of men. Jesus walked on water. He rose Lazarus from the dead. This is not normal. Jesus was not contested because of what he did. He was contested because of who he said he was. He said, did you know that the Son of Man has power to forgive sins? He said, woman, I thought your sins are forgiven. That was blasphemy to the Jews because only God can forgive sins. Why would God allow another man to proclaim God to defile who he is in eternity? That's not God. God is a God of justice. Thomas saw Jesus after he died and came back. And Jesus says, Thomas, have I not been with you so long? Touch my hand. Look, he said, touch my hand. Thomas' first time walking with Jesus said, my Lord and my God. Mary called Jesus her Lord. This is serious, my sister. So when you brought Islam, we don't hate Muslim. We have to tell you the truth in love, whether you like it or not. What you do with it and go where you go with it is up to you. But we love you that much that we would love to see you be saved into the kingdom of God.
Muslims absolutely fear this truth about Jesus. Watch this.
Okay, put it this way.
Can you just fast forward to the end?
Project Bluebeam. Let me break down the steps for you so that you know where we're at. This is the pre-step, stage 0, the setup. Before they roll out the actual show, they need a blackout. They gotta kill the lights, crash the grid, break the rhythm of daily life. They're already blaming Iran, saying they're gonna cause a blackout.
Iranian cyber attacks targeting the US homeland. These could include disruptions to banking systems and widespread blackouts. Knight believes Iranian operatives may have already embedded malware within critical American infrastructure.
But that's just cover for the parasites. Step 1 is the fake discoveries. The archaeology, sudden discoveries of ancient text, alien relics, or evidence that all religion is fake. Right now, they're picking up mysterious signals under Antarctica. That's not a coincidence. It's step 1 in motion. Step 2 is the sky gods. They're gonna turn the sky into a screen. Holograms of deities are gonna appear worldwide. Each culture is gonna see their own. Then boom! They all merge into one savior. Not a miracle, a scripted broadcast. Step 3, a voice in your head. They're gonna whisper in your mind. Voice to skull technology. You'll hear God speaking to you, but it won't be divine. Step 4, the fake apocalypse. The fake alien invasion. Supernatural events, cities in fear. And just when you're broken, they offer the solution. One world government, one fake religion, total control. They've been desensitizing you for years. Aliens, UFOs, Antarctica mysteries. They primed your brain with movies and fake leaks. Now they're flipping the switch. And the whole Bluebeam script is queued up. Don't fall for the light show. The real war is for your mind.
The whole purpose is to create sort of a global militarized totalitarian superstate of the world fighting another world. It's like War of the Worlds.
Can you just fast forward to the end?
Project Bluebeam. Let me break down the steps for you so that you know where we're at. This is the pre-step, stage 0, the setup.
Okay, we're now going to go onto a different channel, platform I should say.
Was invaded 3 times through Ukraine. The last time Hitler killed 1 out of every 7 Russians. They don't want to have Ukraine join NATO. So when the wall came down in the Soviet Union, Europe, Gorbachev destroyed himself politically by doing something that was very, very courageous. He went to Bush and he said, I'm going to allow you to reunify Germany under a NATO army. I'm going to remove 450,000 Soviet troops, but I want your commitment. After that, you will not move NATO 1 inch to the east. And we solemnly swore we wouldn't do it. Well, then in 97, Brzezinski was the first of the neocons, said, we're going to move NATO 1,000 miles to the east and take 15 countries into it and surround the Soviet Union. So then we not only move it into 14 new nations, but we unilaterally walk away from our 2 nuclear weapons treaties with the Russians. And we put Aegis missile systems in Romania and Poland 12 minutes from Moscow. When Russians did that to Cuba in '62, we came this close to nuclear war until they removed them. So the Russians don't want nukes 400 miles from Moscow. We then overthrow the Ukraine government. In 2014, their elected government, and put in a Western sympathetic government. Russia then has to go into Crimea because they have a port. It's their only warm water port. And they know the new government that we just installed is going to invite the U.S. Navy into their port. So Russia then went into Crimea without firing a shot, because the people of Crimea are Russian. Then the new Ukrainian government we installed started killing ethnic Russians in Donbass and Lugansk, and they voted to leave and join Russia. Putin said, I don't want them. Let's give them protection and give them semi-autonomy and make an agreement to keep NATO out of Ukraine. That treaty was written by Germany, France, Russia, and England, the Minsk Accords. And the Ukrainian parliament, which is controlled by ultra-rightists, and that's a nice way of talking about them, refused to sign it. Zelensky runs in 2019. He's an actor. Why did he get elected with 70% of the vote? Because he promised to sign the Minsk Accords. He promised peace. He gets in there and he pivots. Nobody can explain why, but we know why. Because he was threatened with death by ultra-rightists in his government and a withdrawal of support by the United States by Victoria Nuland, who's leading the State Department. We told him he could not sign it. So then the Russians go in. They don't send a big army. They only send 40,000 people. It's a nation of 44 million people. They clearly do not intend to conquer Ukraine. But they want us back at the negotiating table. We won't allow Zelensky to go back. So he goes to Israel and Turkey and says, will you please help me negotiate a treaty? The Russians just want a guarantee that Ukraine won't join NATO. Zelensky signs the treaty. Putin's people sign the treaty. And Putin starts withdrawing the Russian troops in good faith. And what happens? Joe Biden sends Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, over to Ukraine in April and forces him to tear up the treaty. And since then, 450,000 kids have died who none of them should have died. For every one Russian that dies, 5 to 8 Ukrainians die, and they don't have any men left. You know, we're giving them all these weapons, but they don't have men left. It's a catastrophe, and we look kind of like the aggressor. That's the way the rest of the world sees us. 2014, there are riots it's called the Maidan Rebellion in Ukraine, which we're not told that we are financing those riots. The newspapers never told us, our government never told us. USAID, which is a CIA front, put $5 billion into funding those riots. Those riots lead to a coup d'etat against the first democratically elected government of the Ukraine. It was a government that refused to choose sides and to say, we're going to be on the side of the West. So we wanted them out. A month before that government is overthrown, Victoria Nuland, who's the part of the centerpiece of the neocon ideology and who is now a high-level official in the State Department, has a secret call with the U.S. ambassador, which is tape recorded and is now public, which anybody can go and look up, where she is picking the new cabinet for the Ukraine, which is which is a U.S. Western cabinet. So they're picking the new government a month before the old government is overthrown.
Is that how democracy? Is that democracy when Victoria Nuland picks her government?
Well, that's the point. Is USAID doesn't really do, and the CIA don't do democracy. The CIA has overthrown, I think, 83 governments between 1947 and 1997. That's a third of the governments on Earth, and most of them were democracies. Oh, it doesn't do democracy. It does coup d'etat.
What do you think?
I think we're in play. The Klitschko piece is obviously the complicated electron here, especially the announcement of him as deputy prime minister. And you've seen some of my notes on the troubles in the marriage right now. So we're trying to get a read really fast on where he is on this stuff. But I think your argument to him, which you'll need to make, I think that's the next phone call we want to set up, is exactly the one you made to Yachts. And I'm glad you sort of put him on the spot on where he fits in this scenario. And I'm very glad he said what he said in response.
Good. So I don't think Tate should go into the government. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you think, in terms of him not going into the government, just let him sort of stay out and do his political homework and stuff. I'm just thinking, in terms of sort of the process moving ahead, we want to keep the moderate Democrats together. The problem is going to be Tony Book and his guys. And, I'm sure that's part of what Yanukovych is calculating on all of this.
I think Yachts is the guy who's got the economic experience, the governing experience. He's the guy, what he needs is Tate and Tony Book on the outside. He needs to be talking to them 4 times a week, I just think Tate going in, he's going to be at that level working for Yatsenyuk. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. Okay, good. Well, do you want us to try to set up a call with him as the next step?
My understanding from that call.
So people, we're listening to how the so-called democratic world picks and chooses its governments, while the voters, which is you, think you are electing somebody, and that democracy is being delivered to you. I'm afraid you're wrong.
That's call, but you tell me, was that the big three were going into their own meeting, and that Yats was going to offer in that context a three-way, the 3+1 conversation or 3+2 with you. Is that not how you understood it?
No, I mean, that's what he proposed, but I think just knowing the dynamic that's been with them where Klitschko has been the top dog, he's going to take a while to show up for whatever meeting they've got. He's probably talking to his guys at this point, so I think you reaching out directly to him helps with the personality management among the three, and it gives you also a chance to move fast on all this stuff and put us behind it before they all sit down and he explains why he doesn't like it.
Okay, good. I'm happy. Why don't you reach out to him and see if he wants to talk before or after?
Okay, will do. Thanks.
Okay, I've now written, one more wrinkle for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Can't remember if I told you this or if I only told Washington this, that when I talked to Jeff Feltman this morning, he had a new name for the UN guy, Robert Seri. Did I write you that this morning?
Yeah, I saw that.
He's now gotten both Seri and Ban Ki-moon to agree that Seri could come in Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
So that would be great, I think, to help glue this thing and have the UN help glue it. And, fuck the EU.
No, exactly. And I think we've got to do something to make it stick together, because you can be pretty sure that if it does start to gain altitude, the Russians will be working behind the scenes to try to torpedo it. And again, the fact that this is out there right now, I'm still trying to figure out in my mind why Yanukovych did that. But in the meantime, there's a Party of Regions faction meeting going on right now, and I'm sure there's a lively argument going on in that group at this point. But anyway, we could land jelly set up on this one if we move fast. So let me work on Klitschko, and if you can just keep, I think we want to try to get somebody with an international personality to come out here and help to midwife this thing. And then the other issue is some kind of outreach to Yanukovych, but we can probably regroup on that tomorrow as we see how things start to fall into place.
And Putin actually sent a draft treaty that he wanted NATO to sign to promise no more NATO enlargement. That was what he sent us. And that was a precondition for not invade Ukraine. Of course, we didn't sign that. So he went to war to prevent NATO, more NATO close to its borders.
Flashback.
This is fundamentally not about NATO expansion.
It was never about NATO enlargement. It's not about NATO.
It's not about NATO expanding toward Russia.
This was never about NATO.
It's absolutely nothing to do with NATO expansionism.
And it has nothing to do with NATO.
This is not about NATO.
It's not about NATO. It's not really about NATO.
This is not about NATO.
Seriously, it's not about NATO.
This was never about NATO. It was never about NATO. Let's be honest.
This doesn't have anything to do with NATO.
Nothing to do with NATO at all. Yeah, he's claiming it's like security purposes, but we can see the clear reason.
But NATO is not the reason.
This is not about NATO expansion. This is about the democratic expansion.
Ukraine bans religious organizations.
We are protecting democracy right now.
Ukraine is banning political parties.
Because it's a democracy.
Ukraine restricts books and music.
It's about democracy.
Ukraine won't hold elections.
It's about democracy.
And it's not about NATO expansion.
This war in Ukraine is not about NATO.
It's not about NATO.
It's not about NATO.
It has nothing to do with NATO. Nothing to do with NATO expansion.
It's not about NATO expansion.
Nothing to do with NATO. It isn't really about NATO. It's not about NATO.
It's not about NATO enlargement. In fact, it has nothing to do with NATO.
It's not about NATO encroaching.
It's not about NATO. NATO is just a fictitious, imaginary adversary for Mr. Putin and for Russia. It was never about NATO.
That's not what it's been about. It's been about him trying to expand his sphere of influence.
Hang on, I mean, the two are not mutually exclusive. Obviously, Russia has wished for a sphere of influence over Ukraine, but if the West had not challenged Russian interests so directly, I think that there was a chance to avoid this war.
He wanted us to sign a promise never to enlarge NATO. We rejected that.
The reason why Putin invaded Ukraine is because of his evil.
It's
about that Putin wants to rebuild Soviet empire of evil, like President Reagan told.
It's about Putin being sick.
I don't know how you negotiate peace with a madman, but
Nobody negotiated with Hitler.
people are comparing him to Hitler.
And remember Hitler.
He's a Hitler.
We're back when the Nazis invaded Poland.
This is exactly the same.
what Hitler was doing to Jews?
This is the same. Putin will not stop. Putin is reminiscent of Hitler.
Hitler.
This reminds me of Hitler.
Hitler.
He's the new Hitler. Oh, Hitler.
This is about a butcher trying to kill people everywhere in the world, just not Ukraine, Syria, all over the place. I hear you.
This is a war that should have never happened. It's a war that Russians tried repeatedly to settle on terms that were very, very beneficial to Ukraine and us. The major thing they wanted was for us to keep NATO out of the Ukraine. The big military contractors want to add new countries to NATO all the time. Why? Because then that country has to conform its military purchases to NATO weapon specifications, which means certain companies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Boeing, and Lockheed, get a trapped market. In March of 2022, we committed $113 billion. Just to give you an example, we could have built a home for almost every homeless person in this country. We then committed another $24 billion since then, 2 months ago, and now President Biden's asking for another $60 billion. But the big expenses are going to come after the war, when we have to rebuild all the things that we destroyed. Mitch McConnell was asked, can we really afford to spend $113 billion to Ukraine? He said, don't worry. It's not really going to Ukraine.
It's going to American defense manufacturers.
So he just admitted it's a money laundering scheme. And who do you think owns every one of those companies? BlackRock. So Tim Scott, during the Republican debate, said, don't worry, it's not a gift to Ukraine, it's a loan. So raise your hand if you think that loan is ever getting paid back. Yeah, of course it's not. So why do they call it a loan? Because if they call it a loan, they can impose loan conditions. And what are the loan conditions that we impose on? Number one, an extreme austerity program, so that if you're poor in Ukraine, you're going to be poor forever. Number two, most important, Ukraine has to put all of its government-owned assets up for sale to multinational corporations, including all of its agricultural land, the biggest single asset in Europe. In Ukraine, there's been 1,000 years of war fought over that land. It's the richest farmland in the world. It's the breadbasket of Europe. 500,000 kids almost, Ukrainians, have died to keep that land as part of Ukraine. They almost certainly didn't know about this loan condition. They've already sold 30% of it. The buyers were DuPont, Cargill, and Monsanto. Who do you think owns all of those companies? Yeah, BlackRock. And then in December, President Biden gave out the contract to rebuild Ukraine. And who do you think got that contract? BlackRock. So they're doing this right in front of us. They don't even care that we know anymore, because they know that they can get away with it. And how do they know that? Because they have a strategy. And that strategy is an old strategy, which is they keep us at war with each other. They keep us hating on each other. They keep the Republicans and Democrats fighting each other, black against white, and all these divisions that they saw.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Well done to the 3 people that made it to the end. That was a bit of a long one, but the information in that video is pretty fantastic. Obviously, you need to do your own research, and you need to, that includes me, to see how much of that was actually factually correct. I do know some of that information is actually correct, because if you remember my my live streams going back when the Ukraine-Russia conflict started, I had said a lot of those things. But hey ho, what do I know? Right, over to the next video, and we have the atheist David Icke, who took the ayahuasca drug before he became enlightened. Let's listen to this.
Realize that those that had the full-blown jab, not everybody did, but because, you know, enough people have died already without giving it full-blown to everybody. There were so many people would have been keeling over. They wouldn't have been able to cover it up. But how many know that those that had the full-blown jab have now got a Bluetooth code in the body? I've watched experiments, and a close friend of mine has just carried one out. And what they did was go out into the countryside. All these experiments did the same, basically. They went out in the countryside, and where there was no Bluetooth code, they had people not bring phones and all that stuff that could produce a code. And they got these computers, and they had people walk a long distance, considerable distance, towards the people with the computers. And those that were vaccinated, ping, there's a Bluetooth code. Those that weren't vaccinated, no Bluetooth code. And this has been done in Mexico. Like I say, it was done actually just a few days ago in Britain. And it's been done elsewhere, and they found exactly the same thing. It's a code. And what comes on the screen, you know, when you're like a Bluetooth thing, a code comes on the screen. When these people without any phones or any Bluetooth stuff at all that have been vaccinated, when they come into this field where it can be picked up, ping, they have a code. A code comes up. And it's a code that basically says unknown, because it's a human. And there was a remarkable piece of footage that I watched actually last night, where a guy goes into a cemetery in Mexico with the computer, and these codes are going off, right? And some codes weren't going off. What he looked at was graves of people who died in 2020 or 2021 or 2022, and these codes were going off. And the research they did do confirmed that the people had been jabbed.
No way.
Right. So, and that code is just part of it.
So what is it in their bones or whatever? What's that? Just
well, it means, first of all, it means people can be tracked. It means people are basically tagged. But it's more than that. You've got nanotechnology in the body. Okay, let's look at this. What they've been working towards, and I've written about this at length decades back, that this was coming. How many people realize that those that had the full-blown jab, not everybody did, but because, you know, enough people have died already without.
Okay, so I don't know how true this could be or how bogus this could be, but I will say this. I have checked on my very powerful Mac and my iPhone, maybe not on my Android, maybe I should be doing that. I have checked, there's no how can we say, unknown device near me. Now, somebody was with me a few weeks ago, and they said they were picking up some device that was unknown, and I couldn't see it at the time. So when I see that person again, I'm going to get them to where's the settings on this silly Android. I'm going to get them to show me their device, and I'm going to have a look what that is. So let me go to the Bluetooth on this Android here. Don't really use Android, so I'm a bit slow with it. System. No, I don't want to. Oh, here we go. I think that. No, okay. No, that's not it. Connected devices. Saved. Pair new device. Okay. Alright. Let's see what happens. Nothing's turned up so far. But anyway, while I'm doing this, I am going to play the next video. Now, I'm gonna warn you all that this is a little bit even very conspiratorial, like ridiculously bad, but it's such a well presented video. I think I just enjoy enjoy listening to him because he's got such high energy, even though he has got a bit of an. Anyway, I won't finish that. But anyway, just watch it. Let's see what you guys think.
Is any of these people up here? Do you know what they all have in common? Can you figure it out by looking? They all have one thing in common, and that's that they've all died. Well, at least they told us they all died. You see, I've been exposing celebrity and musician and politician fake deaths for 2 years, but it took me almost a full 2 years to get down to the bottom of why they really faked their deaths. Some of you aren't ready for it. See, I used to just think that they faked their deaths as these people and became these people for trauma-based mind control to control the masses. But no, it's something much. Do you recognize any of these people? A musician and politician fake deaths for 2 years, but it took me almost a full 2 years to get down to the bottom of why they really faked their deaths. Some of you aren't ready for it. See, I used to just think that they faked their deaths as these people and became these people for trauma-based mind control to control the masses. But no, it's something much, much more sinister. And I'm going to prove it to you in the most unlikely of places. The show Breaking Bad and Walter White, aka Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston, who used to be this guy right here, SNL star Phil Hartman. But I've done a video on this, how Phil Hartman faked his death and became Bryan Cranston, and I've proven it. You can go watch the full video, but for those of you that need to be caught up, look at how perfectly their faces fit together. But there's more. And here's Phil again, and here's Bryan again, and here's Phil's wife, and here's Bryan's wife. And I always say they bring their wives with them, but this isn't what I want to show you. What I want to show you is going to prove why they do this, which I haven't gotten to yet. And just to fully prove this to you and fully catch those of you up that didn't see that video, let's look at that dot and that dot. Notice how they're both on the forehead wrinkle, and that one, and right under the forehead wrinkle, and how the forehead wrinkles match. And well, would you look at that? It's Phil Hartman and Bryan Cranston. And here's where this goes from kind of believable to totally unbelievable, unless you are the most open-minded, awake souls. Because like I said, the proof comes in the most unlikely of places, the show Breaking Bad and Walter White, because I couldn't help but notice something. A random clip that just seemed suspicious. Let's see if you notice anything.
Yeah, see, Presidente Grant, very important man. See?
You see in that clip, he gave a bunch of cleaning women $100 bills and got to the 50 and suspiciously said, Presidente Grant, a very important man. Presidente Grant as in Ulysses S. Grant, our 18th president. Do you notice anything suspicious about him? What about now? That's Walter White, the person that said Presidente Grant is a very important man. So what? They look alike. There's been billions of people. People are bound to look alike. But did you notice what's right there? So maybe they're long-lost relatives, and they all share bloodlines anyway, but it couldn't possibly be the same person, right? I mean, their lips wouldn't match up so perfectly, and their nose wouldn't match up so perfectly, and the eyebrow wouldn't smooth over perfectly on both sides, and the eyes wouldn't, and that mole wouldn't be in the exact same place. Would it really, if they were just doppelgangers? Well, what if not only there's one mole, but two? 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And I'm not even done yet. Notice how when we scroll over, there's another mark right there in the exact same place. Now you tell me, what are the odds that he says Presidente Grant, a very important man, and just happens to look just like him with the same beard and mustache and nose and moles and moles and moles. You tell me. Oh, and Bryan Cranston, aka Phil Hartman, he just happened to play a president on SNL. President Clinton. You want to know how many times he played that president? Phil Hartman played Bill Clinton on SNL. A very specific 18 times. Do you remember what else I said was 18? Can you see that up there? Ulysses S. Grant, the 18th president, who sadly died on July 23rd. And Phil Hartman, aka Bryan Cranston, aka Ulysses S. Grant, just happened to have a birthday on July 24th, but they celebrate it on the 23rd or the 24th. So what I am getting at, if you haven't connected the dots, is that he was born in 1822, and it's 2025. That's over 200 years ago. They fake their deaths because they can live a lot longer than you and I. And to avoid suspicion of that, they need to fake their deaths and recreate themselves. Now I have theories on how they do this, whether they're fallen angels and literally not human, or if they drink a Brinabrome, or if they drink the gold juice, which is literally gland from a sperm whale that is proven to help stop aging. I don't know for sure. My opinion is it's probably a combination of them all, but to deny this is to do yourself a disservice. To know the true reality of where you live and not be stuck in the reality that they presented to you so you couldn't figure stuff like this out. Well, I'm a guy that figured stuff like this out, and I'm just trying to help because I care. I'm literally just a guy that was a high school PE teacher for 20 years, and for some reason I have a gift to see through the lies, and once I figured out how much I had been lied to my whole life and how much I hate liars and lying, I felt it my duty to help share with others so they could figure out the true reality of their God-created.
Okay, so while he was talking, I quickly looked up this President Grant. He was right. It was some chap. I can't actually remember seeing him. But he seems to be a former president. Let me just double check that. Was the 18th president. Yep, so he's right. And when I was looking at the photographs, and while he was comparing it to the guy from Breaking Bad, I realized that President Grant's mole was on the other side of the face. And I was just about to put my mic on and call this BS. And then I remembered the old photographs used to be in mirror and not as we have them today. So all that is, it's somewhat accurate, and there are, I would say, more photographs of President Grant that makes him look even more like the Breaking Bad guy than the one that this chap has shown. It's very, very, very weird. But anyway, in regards to we started the start of the show, we said how children were. I showed a few videos of two researchers. One of them saying that small children, according to him, allegedly, were being kept and terrified in order to collect their blood with certain hormones so certain people could drink, and then those bodies were being disposed and recycled as meat in places like fast food chain McDonald's, allegedly, according to those two sources. So I've come back for the final video. Again, I only watched this quickly. I will say this: any videos that you do want to watch, they're all available on my Discord channel. You can watch them in full and all the rest of it. They're usually either in the main free speech chat or they are in the live streaming material. You can go find them there. But let's watch this one.
New York Post said what?
fame that is just too dangerous for this.
Yeah. So yeah. If you don't drink the Kool-Aid, you don't drink the gold juice. So I was offered the gold juice 3 times in my 20s, my 30s, and
What's
my 40s.
that? Pee? A lot of golden showers in
The
Burbank.
gold juice that I will live forever and I'll have whatever I want. The gold juice. You never offered the gold juice?
No, I'm a scumbag comic. What's the gold juice?
Oh, but I didn't drink it and I didn't want it. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's like a real thing. Like, it's all a real thing. And it's scary because they send, like, people after you and they can, like, kind of moonlight as, like, a friend. They're wolf in sheep's clothing. And listen, you can have everything you want, all the fame in the world, all the money. I'm like, what if I just drank it? But then you know what I mean? Like, what if and I don't know what it is. If it's a metaphor for the gold juice, like, you feel what I'm saying?
Mostly.
And
if there's a tincture that makes you younger, let me in on this. If adrenochrome's real, I'll be first in line.
Apparently you can put, you know, some of the women put like some type of like baby's foreskin on their face.
Sure. Why do you think I'm having a kid?
I don't believe in all that adrenochrome. So I'm like, there's just no way that all that.
No, because if it existed, I'd be there right now. To me, I'm always like, no, the truth is so much worse than these wild rumors that you guys are coming up with.
Nah, it's definitely not true. I wonder what all that stuff is. If you can read, and have you seen how her mom looks recently? Must have a good plastic surgeon. What'd she say? Something about a tincture if you just drink it and it could make you younger? Well, they tell us in the movies. And that tincture just happened to make her younger. But these vampires, I mean people, don't actually consume red stuff that would make you look younger, right? No, that's ridiculous.
I guess to drink each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. It is used for a reason, and it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood
reason?
and just drink it.
I wonder what the reason could be. And I wonder if they also tell us in the movies how faking death to escape suspicion of not aging is a common trope in vampire fiction. Now maybe next time when you see me talk about.
Okay, so I found some more videos that I need to share with you actually, which is very important. So in fact, one of them by Jordan, Mongolian jingle bells or something. But I just want to clarify, I am not I am not stating that there are people out there living for 900, 5,000 years or whatever the conspiracy is. I just thought it was a interesting topic. You know, like a lot of things on the internet, is most likely bogus, or maybe not. You never know. But let's watch this video that Jordan put on Discord.
Jingle a bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Yo, jingle a bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Ho, jingle a bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Yo, jingle a bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Yo, jingle a bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Ho, jingle a bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Yo, jingle a bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Ho,
He's AI, Jordan. He's AI.
jingle bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Yo, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Yo, what a fun it is to ride on a Mongolian open sleigh. Ho, dig-a-ding-dee, oh, dig-a-ding-dee, dig-a-ding-dee-ding-dee.
The funniest thing is, if Jordan was to make a music video, this is what it would sound like anyway. So if you think this music video is bizarre, you should listen to Jordan DJ. And he, from my understanding, is about to embark on a new world tour.
Give me a rundown then of what the Fabian Society is.
One gets accused of conspiracy theories, and particularly over things like the Fabians. But I mean, they're not a conspiracy theory; they're just a fact. So it was founded in the late 19th century by a bunch of people who believe that there are too many humans. If we can reduce the population, we'll create paradise. They see themselves as morally inherently virtuous, and therefore they don't need to control their emotions, and they don't control their envy. Tony Blair has started this ball rolling. I genuinely think that the problem with Blair is that he doesn't think he's going to die. Tony Blair began it by, we have a government that we can't trust on any level. This government likes prosecuting its political opponents. Trial by jury is our oldest defense against tyrants. They're making a law against everything. We have limited police resources and we are wasting it. Churchill said, don't judge England by the present administration. Once a great cause is put before the British people, all sorts of things become possible that were not possible before.
Can you do me a favour? If you get value from these conversations...
Yeah. We all want favours, don't we, young men? All right, we're moving on to the next video. Now, I'm going to warn you, I'm speaking to YouTube now. YouTube, I'm just presenting information. I have no idea how accurate or inaccurate this is. I'm just playing this because I'm practicing whichever law that I'm allowed to share this information under.
Unique Christian Fire Station, yes, speaking.
Yeah, hi. Are you a pharmacist?
Yes, how can I help?
Yeah, hey, I've got a question. My wife, against my wishes, brought my son, 7-year-old son, in there a few days ago for a COVID jab, and he's now in the hospital with myocarditis. And I was obviously not very happy with you guys or with my wife. She told me that she was not told that was a potential side effect. So why wouldn't you have told her that?
Okay, sorry, so it's quite a rare side effect as well.
No, it's not that. No, it's not, because I've been doing research. It's common. In the U.S., there's tens of thousands of them reported to the CDC site. So why are you not telling parents this?
We might scare the parents and they don't want to get their child vaccinated.
Yeah, so you don't want to scare the parents with something that is actually happening, that's happened to my kid. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? You don't want to scare them. You need to give them the right information so they can make a proper decision. What is wrong with you? You don't want to scare them. I'm recording this conversation as well, and this is going to a lawyer next. Thank you for admitting that. So why don't you tell them? When someone comes in there and says, hey, what can go wrong? What do you say, sore arm? Have you seen the amount of dead people? Have you seen it?
Has your wife asked before giving consent to give
She asked what the side effects are.
Did she ask? I'm not sure because I wasn't there.
It doesn't matter. You're supposed to tell people this can happen. Now my kid, so you know what the prognosis is? You know what it is? Possible death within 5 years. 20% of people with myocarditis die. It is a permanent damaged heart. It is.
I keep leaving my mic on mute and talking. So I just want to say for YouTube purposes that the comments and remarks made by both the pharmacist and the parent are all comments made allegedly, and I do not have any apparatus to provide any evidence of how accurate or inaccurate the worried father and the pharmacist is. However, if you do want to watch the entire recording, not only is there a Discord server that will allow you to do that, but also has plenty of information and research that you can search and verify for yourself. But we now will go on to another video.
I don't know what happened in 1990. There was no plague that was killing children, that we had triple the amount of vaccines.
What happened after 1989?
The why did they
That warranted 26 more vaccines.
Agreed.
Are all of them absolutely necessary?
Because they want to make money.
Of course.
It's twice as many as anywhere else in 30 countries in the Western world. But we give twice as many shots as any of those countries. Why is that?
Well, what are you against? Don't vaccinate for this, but vaccinate for that?
Yes.
I think we have to choose which ones are absolutely necessary.
You should educate yourself. We want to empower parents to educate themselves. Do we need to have the chickenpox? Do we need the hepatitis B shot on the second day of life?
I don't think we can afford to assume that the people who are charged with our public health any longer have our best interest at heart all the time. Parents have to make their own decisions, educated decisions. They have to look at the information.
Space out the vaccines, delay them till after 1, clean out the toxins that are in them. We don't need that many.
Why would a doctor not want to know more about something that could save a life or prevent a disease? I don't understand.
The AAP is financed by the drug companies. Medical schools are financed by the drug companies. This is a huge business. Vaccines are the largest growing division of the pharmaceutical industry. $13 billion.
They control medical schools.
What we're asking is for them to take a loss for the good of our children. That's a tough sell.
Allegedly. I cannot confirm or deny what they are talking on about. I had no idea. I was just playing the video. I cannot believe the confidence and information that they have shared. Unbelievable. If you want to watch the entire video, you can go on to the Manny Sinder Discord channel, link below this video, or it should be anyway. All right, next video.
In your Quran,
yes,
you get the men
yes,
go to heaven.
Yes.
And they get sex.
Yes, they get intimacy.
Virgin.
Yes, yes.
What about my woman? Do I get a man?
You get, yes. If you don't have a partner, you get a husband.
A husband? Forget a husband. I just want sex. Hello. You're not getting a wife. You're getting sex. Okay. Let's not confuse.
Okay.
Husband and wife and marriage with sex.
Yes, but should I tell you?
Sex.
Yes. Should I?
So the man gets 90 virgins.
No, 72.
What about me as a woman?
One second. You get a husband.
No, I don't want a husband. Hello, I've had a husband. I don't want a husband. Sorry.
Okay, let me tell you.
What do I, as a woman,
yes,
get when I go to heaven in the name of Allah?
No, it
what
says.
Do I get? What's my reward?
No, it says. I want to get that.
No, what do you mean you don't know?
No.
Hello, she says she doesn't know. Hello, I'm asking the question.
I'll answer.
You're not in this.
I know, okay.
You're out of it. Well, not you.
And
yes, you're him.
Yes.
I'm going to keep that. I'm going to
As
stay
a
that
woman.
way.
Okay.
But,
Give you a headache.
But I'm sure you'll be blessed, lady. I'm sure.
No, I'm blessed anyway. I'm talking about Allah and not blessings.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm not just talking about blessings.
Yeah.
I get blessings anyway.
Okay, so if you were ever wondering about those questions, what the women get when they go to whatever that place is, that's your answer. Okay, I just found one last video. I might well share it with you, and then we'll have a chinwag.
Can Tyler get a fair trial when his own lawyer is tied to suspects who controlled audio, cameras, and the evidence? So here's even more shady stuff. about the Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk assassination and investigation. So it seems like they're setting him up as a patsy. And even with his defense team, we had somebody come on talk about how it was weird that the court is appointing this defense lawyer, and the defense lawyer was not interested in facts and stuff. Remember that? We had that woman on. But so here's Project Constitution says Mormon Mafia bombshell. Terrell Farnsworth. So now, do you know who Terrell Farnsworth was?
Mm-mm.
I'm pretty sure Terrell Farnsworth was the guy who took the SD cards out of the camera. And then could you look it up as if that was who he was? I'm pretty sure that's who he was. He took the SD cards out of the cameras that were behind Charlie Kirk. And then
taking the SD cards.
And then he lied about why he took them. At first he said the cops told him. And then they said the cops didn't tell you that. And then he said, oh, no, we did it because I was afraid they're going to steal them. Well, you would take the whole camera. You wouldn't just take the SD card. You're afraid people are going to steal the cameras. So Terrell Farnsworth, that guy who got caught lying about why he took the SD cards, his cousin is a lawyer on Tyler Robinson's defense, while father-in-law was former vice president of Duncan Aviation. What does this mean? Let's look. So Project Constitution says, myself and Mia Stretch just uncovered 2 massive bombshells in the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. Terrell Farnsworth's cousin is a key attorney on the shooter Tyler Robinson's defense team.
What?
What?
Come on.
Come on. And his father-in-law was former EVP COO of Duncan Aviation, the exact company tied to the suspicious Egyptian planes tracked on the day of Charlie's murder. You gotta be kidding me. Really? First, the defense conflict. Michael Burt, high-profile San Francisco attorney, is directly related to Terrell Farnsworth, the TPUSA AV guy who yanked SD cards post-hit and contaminated the crime scene, which that's what he did. But that's what they wanted to do. That's why they paved over the crime scene 2 days after. They wanted to contaminate the crime scene. Michael is on... So Michael Burt, the high-profile San Francisco attorney, directly related to Terrell Farnsworth, well, he's on Tyler Robinson's legal team, despite family loyalty to the very insiders with access to Charlie's stage setup. Isn't that weird? Yes. This is a blatant conflict of interest. How can Tyler get a fair trial when his own lawyer is tied to suspects who controlled audio, cameras, and the evidence?
Well, there you have it. The rabbit hole is forever increasing. So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who stuck with me, that is the most ridiculous news and stories and social media posts that I have come across. I honestly do work. I assure you, I don't just go through social media. But that is what I've come across during my Christmassy few days. Some good stuff in there, some good information. Okay, so I'm done. I've got to do a Spanish lesson now at 10 o'clock. And then that's it. I will be going to sleep because that's what I do. In fact, 10 o'clock is late for me. I'd much rather be in and around my bed about 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock. That's what happens when you become a workaholic and you work all the hours. Thank you everybody for listening, watching, sharing. If you can press the like button on the way out, it gives me at least one finger out of 2 to give to YouTube for shadow banning me for years and years. I was gonna share a new kind of frame of mind thought process that's been growing in my head, where I'll leave it for another live stream because I have to go. Sorry about that. I have to go into a bit of a speech, and I don't think I've got the energy. But thank you very much, Sandy. Please get better. Everybody, pray for our sister Sandy to get better. Let's get her home. Let's claim from our God the healing that Sandy needs and claims. I mean, it's owed to her. So, Sandy, please get better. Jordan, sprinkle some magic dust or whatever you can do to get Sandy home. But thank you, everybody, for listening, watching, and sharing. Thanks for chatting as well in the chat. Thanks, guys.